All right. Hey, YouTube, I'm Lucky, and today is Thursday, and that means it's time to cover the TWAB. Some huge news today. I mean, Bungie is announcing some crazy stuff. Let's start from the very top, okay? We have the Solstice of Heroes is coming. Now, this is a celebrational event for us killing Korea. The timing between the 8-week cyclic story that Bungie has come up with to this is perfect. Kudos to Bungie for tying those together pretty well. So we're celebrating killing Korea, essentially, and get this cool little mini event. Along with this shotgun is going to come here. This is going to be that 140 RPM shotgun. And you might think to yourself, those aren't that good right now in PvP. But Bungie is about to do some crazy sandbox changes, and these might very well be the meta. In fact, this shotgun right here could be the strongest shotgun in the game if it has the right rolls, the right perks. We shall see. Only time will tell. On to the big issue right here, though. We got, just before we get to the sandbox, the Master Difficulty of VoG is coming out this Tuesday, and July 6th. Get ready for that. It's about to be crazy, okay? 1350 power? That's going to be tough, okay? Right now, Grandmasters are 1335 power. Think about that. This is 1350 power. This is going to be very, very tough activity. And what your rewards for doing this are going to be crazy, though. You're going to get these time-lost weapons, and they are going to have double augmented perks on them. So I'll give you an example of what that looks like so you can understand. So right now I have this grid skipper on, and you can see it has 2 perks here. It'll have 2 perks here and 2 perks here on your Fatebringer, on your Haze and Vengeance, every weapon whenever it's available for that week. So keep that in mind. It's about to be really crazy. It'll make it really easy to get god rolls, and you could end up having, with double augmented, you could have the god roll for PvP and PvE on the same weapon, which would be like the super god roll. I mean, what's above a god roll, right? It would be like a double god roll, right? That'd be crazy. So keep that in mind. Augmented weapons, it's going to be really crazy. It's going to be very tough. You can turn those in for your spoils as well, but they cost more. So get to spoil farming right now. The cap for your character is 240 spoils, but you can also store 240 spoils in the Postmaster on all 3 characters. So keep that in mind. You could literally have like 1,000 spoils if you want. And then day 1, if it's the Fatebringer, you can turn those in at that chest at the end and get the actual time-lost version. Get those god rolls. That's going to be crazy, right? It's going to be really crazy. Get your spoils up. Get to spoil farming right now while you can. And also, they're going to have high stat armor that drops from this, and it's going to be on a weekly rotation. So some weeks it will be high intellect. Some weeks it'll be high recovery, high mobility, etc. So get to playing on those weeks when you know which stat it's going to be. So a lot of really cool, a lot of really interesting stuff. The loot that's coming from this master difficulty rate is going to be really, really crazy stuff. Definitely really exciting, and cannot wait to see that. So let's go ahead and move on to the sandbox changes now. All right, they're doing a huge mid-season sandbox update. They haven't done this in a while. They usually try to keep these, they try to just knock down stuff that's really crazy, but they're actually doing some crazy stuff. They talk a little bit about the roles. Snipers are meant for long range, shotguns close range, fusions mid range, trace rifles mid range but can be outshot by precise primary ammo users, and grenade launchers for weakening opponents and, you know, banking shots around corners and stuff like that. So then they start talking about weapons, and I like that they actually go over the roles of this so that way people kind of understand their perspective. It's important for Bungie to not be so vague in certain things, and I like that actually. So they're going to be nerfing shotguns and mostly the aggressive frames right here. So get ready. The aggressive frame shotgun cone angle is going to go from 4.0 to 4.25. So that's going to be an increase to the spread of the bullets, making it not quite as lethal at further ranges because more pellets will miss. If you shoot a shotgun right now, it shoots a bunch of pellets, and the further away, the more they spread out. So keep that in mind. Will definitely be a nerf to that. Reduce shotgun damage fall off minimum by 2 meters, and increase shotgun damage fall off maximum by 2 meters. And slug shotguns are not affected by this change. So definitely some pretty significant changes to the aggressive frame shotguns. And then along with this, we have the 120 RPM hand cannons. They used to be 110s back in the day. They got turned to 120s, and they are still extremely potent. Like I've talked about, they're so strong in the game. They're going to reduce the precision damage multiplier from 1.8 to 1.6. So that way people can't do 2 taps with them with the 10% damage buff, like in Empowering Rifts and stuff like that. That's probably a great change, actually, because a lot of people were using that. Creates this sort of element of chaos when you're in PvP, where you come around a corner and all of a sudden just boom, boom, you're dead. And I like that, actually. Reduced aim assist, minimum fall off distance by 1 to 2 meters, depending upon the range stat. Reduced damage, minimum fall off distance by 1 meter. And so that is going to be pretty crazy. Some pretty good pretty solid changes to the 120s. We'll see if the 140s stand out a little bit more after this, and what other weapons emerge. We also have a few changes to perks. They're going to change drop mag soon here. Pulse monitor. Rewind rounds is getting fixed, so that way it actually works if you miss the last bullet of the magazine. That was a big problem I had. Reservoir burst is going to get changed too. So some big changes coming, and that's not it. Deadman's Tail is going to get the hard nerf. It's going to get removed. Hipfire damage. Fall off scaler was 1.8 times to match zoom. And aim assist cone angle hip scaler reduced from 1.2 to 1.5 to 1.2. So they're not going extremely hard on Deadman's, but after this patch, it definitely won't be nearly as potent as it was back in the day. So we'll see. Sleeper Simulant didn't receive any custom tuning when they updated linear fusion rifles, so the Sleeper's about to get a nice little buff, and actually it's going to be the strongest linear fusion in the game. Fixing an issue where Sleeper was benefiting less from the other linear fusion rifles from the season of the Splicer, and it obviously should be the best considering what it is. Total buff is now 16.5% compared to 15% buff over other linear fusion rifles received. So it's the Sleeper meta in PvE. It's going to be really exciting to see that. The near future, so they talk about fusion rifles. They're going to do a complete overhaul of fusion rifles. That's going to be interesting to see. Breach grenade launchers are obviously going to get some more love as aggressive frame shotguns get nerfed. Other people are going to start leaning more into using grenade launchers, so they actually address this and be doing some changes to those. I'm happy to see that. Scout rifles and hand cannons in PvE are atrocious right now, and they're going to be doing some buffs to those, which is exciting. And this one I like a lot. Machine guns in PvE are actually going to get a nice buff. So maybe season 15 is going to be like season of the machine guns. Like this season is like all about grenade launchers. That would be really interesting. The special ammo economy has been a big issue for a long time in PvP, and people just run around with special ammo weapons all the time. They don't really run out of ammo because of double scavengers. So they're going to do some small changes to that, which is very exciting to see. And the Anarchy exotic grenade launcher is obviously way too strong, way too good, and they're going to be nerfing that pretty soon here to keep it more in line with the rest of the other weapons in the game. And exotic primaries, we want to give more players reasons to use exotic primary weapons in high-end PvE content, and have changes coming with this. They'll probably give each exotic a anti-champion mod, like anti-barrier on the thorn, you know, or stuff like that. So that'll be really interesting to see which anti-champion mod each exotic gets. You know, what will the Ace of Spades get? What will Sunshot get? And when they do get those changes, we'll see if they actually are viable in PvE. I don't think they will still be the best, but we'll see. Time will tell. We shall see. And the more distant future, we keep a close eye on special weapons to make sure we adjust them to perform, particularly fusion rifles and grenade launchers. They have a bunch of different ideas. They're going to be keeping the feedback on the exotic weapons, which are more under/overperforming. Hey, what about my Skyburner's Oath, all right? And this one is a really interesting note right here. At the risk of being vague, we also have long-term plans to address the issues of exotic orb generation and kill trackers without making a catalyst for every exotic in the game. So every exotic won't need a catalyst but can generate orbs in the future. That would be pretty cool. That with the changes with the champion mods could actually make those exotic primaries meta in PvE. It'd be really interesting. So that's all the changes we see here, and they go through the patch notes, a bunch of stuff that's getting fixed, and so on and so forth. A bunch of bugs in the game. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What are you most excited for in terms of sandbox changes? Are you going to rock the Sleeper in PvE, melt some raid bosses with it? Are you going to continue to use the Deadman's in PvP? Obviously, this is a mouse and keyboard weapon. They tried to keep the nerfs kind of small, so that way controller players could still enjoy this weapon, because right now it's really not being used too much on controller. Just a mouse and keyboard issue. And you do have to be more precise with it, is one thing they said, so we'll see how that goes. Changes to some of these perks are really exciting, especially Reservoir Burst and Rewind rounds. I'm happy to see those changes go through. 120s and aggressive frame shotguns definitely needed that hard nerf, so I'm very excited for that. And most especially, I want to get some of these time-lost weapons. I want to get that God-rolled Fatebringer. That's really exciting to me. So let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Make sure to smash this like button if you want to stay up to date on all the news in Destiny 2. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Later.